So trying to get the content all exciting and fun. Hello my lovelies and welcome back to my channel. I'm Heather and this is the happenings with H.A.P. H.A.P. meaning my initials. So I thought today I would start yet another new series. I have a lot of series ideas if you guys couldn't tell. This series is called Classics Shame, and it's where I list off either books or films that are considered classics by most people. And I haven't seen them or I haven't read them. So in today's video, we're going to be doing the first iteration of the movie version of this. Before we get started, if you like this video idea, if you've liked any of my other videos that I've made over the last few months, please like and subscribe down below. I've noticed that about 60% of my viewers are not subscribed to me. I don't know how many of those are repeat viewers, but if you're a repeat viewer and you haven't subscribed, please do. So let's get into the video. This video is going to cover 5 classics that I've not seen. I figure we're gonna go in release date order because why not? The first film that I've not seen that is considered a classic is Citizen Kane, directed by Orson Welles. Oh, I know, there's some cinemaphiles out there giving me the death stare right now. I have not seen Citizen Kane. For those that don't know, Citizen Kane was released in September 1941 and is directed and starring Orson Welles. It's considered one of the greatest cinematic feats ever in American cinema. The only thing I knew about it before I looked up a one sentence synopsis was the Rosebud scene. Spoiler alert, if you don't want to know, Rosebud is his sled. I know this because pop culture expects everyone to have seen this movie. I probably first heard about it or knew what the actual rosebud symbolized by a Simpsons episode. So yeah. And essentially Orson Welles' character is a publishing tycoon and he dies, but his last word was rosebud. So all these journalists are frantically trying to figure out what this means. I'm assuming that there's flashbacks in this. I'm not 100%, but I'd be willing to bet that there's flashbacks in this. I also don't know if Orson Welles' character was a popular guy that people liked or someone that people despised. I don't know. I don't know if there's something involving his will with his death and that's why they want to know what Rosebud meant. That's my guess, is that he wasn't very well liked, but then maybe he had this will. There wasn't a sign off or something, and so then they heard him say Rosebud and they're trying to figure out if there's a connection. That's my best guess as to what this movie's about. I don't really know. If you guys want to tell me, that's totally fine. You don't have to, but if you do, comment below. I'll see it eventually. It's never really interested me to see it. I know I should and have to see it if I claim myself to be a cinemaphile and a film fan, but yeah. The next film on my list is Casablanca, directed by Michael Curtis. I know, it's another one I haven't seen. For those that don't know, this is yet another classic of American cinema, and it stars Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman, and it was released in January 1943. I know the very ending of the film. Again, it's parodied everywhere, so I'm sure I saw it in some sort of cartoon when I was young, where Humphrey Bogart is in front of Ingrid Bergman and has his face in her hand, and she has the soft white light that they did in the 40s and she's looking gorgeous as always, and the plane is in the background and says, "Here's looking at you, kid." I don't even know if that's actually when he says the line, but I know the line because of this. And then she leaves him. I do know the fact that they were former lovers. I don't know if they were former husband and wife that got divorced or they were just former lovers. But I believe Ingrid Bergman's husband in the film is a Nazi, and it takes place in Morocco, and I think that she's trying to get Humphrey Bogart's help in order to have him escape. Maybe escape because I think he's a Nazi. Like I said, I don't know. I know that Nazis are involved in some way, shape, or form, unless I totally made that up. I don't want to spoil it for myself, so I could technically look up the whole plot, but I figure it's more fun for me to guess. I'm sure it's much more interesting than that, but I'm not sure if it is. It's one of the great American classics, but I don't know if like Citizen Kane, it's considered a great American classic due to like the plot and how it was filmed. This one, I don't know if it's more so for the actors involved. I know it's based off a play called Everybody Comes to Rick's. I've never heard of the play, so I don't know how popular the play was before the film came out. Like, these are all things I don't know. Again, I feel like me watching it now, especially with what I know about it, what I don't know about it, would just be kind of me pacifying because I don't really have a desire to see it, but I know that I should see this film. And I feel like that's kind of the pressure you can get from other people of like, well, you should see this if you call yourself a film fan. And yeah, I don't know. It's really interested me. I'll see it one day, maybe. The next film on my list is Vertigo by Alfred Hitchcock. This is actually the first one on this list that I do want to see. I actually have it DVR'd and I'm going to try to watch it very soon. So by the time this video goes up, you'll know if I've watched it in the last probably week or two. This is one of the few Hitchcock films I have not seen. I've seen Psycho, Rear Window, Rebecca, The Lodger, and Suspicion. Is that a Hitchcock film? It is a Hitchcock film. So I've seen that, I've seen Suspicion, and I've seen half of Rope, and I've seen the stage play of the 39 Steps, and I've seen Downhill, which is another silent film. I have a thing for Ivor Novello, so I've seen a lot of the silents, and he worked with Hitchcock a couple times. Oh, and I've seen The Birds. So I've seen Psycho, Rear Window, The Lodger, Downhill, The Birds, Rebecca, Suspicion, the 39 Steps play, and half of Rope. So I've seen actually a lot of his films. Wow, okay. Saying it aloud makes me feel a little better. But Vertigo is a classic one that I've not seen yet. This film came out in May 1958 and stars Jimmy Stewart and Kim Novak. From what little I know of the plot, Jimmy Stewart is a detective, and I'm probably wrong, I want to say that he is hired to follow Kim Novak's character. However, he ends up becoming obsessed with her. I know the fact that Jimmy Stewart ends up becoming obsessed with her, but I can't remember if he's hired to follow her and then that's what happens, or she's just someone he sees on the street or something. But essentially, the film is him following her, and he's kind of mentally messed up. The only scene I kind of know of, I can't remember the specifics of it, but it's like the end of the film and they're in this like bell tower or something, and Kim Novak's character, I feel like, is Jimmy Stewart's there with her, but Kim Novak's character is like terrified as someone else is following her. I don't think she knows that Jimmy Stewart is the one that's been following her. I'm not sure. And so she hears someone coming up the stairs and she like falls out the window, but it ends up being a nun that comes upstairs who just has nothing to do with anything. Like I said, I believe that's what this is about. I believe that's what happens. I don't know, but it's fun to guess. But this is a Hitchcock film that I do want to see. I adore Hitchcock. I love his films. And because no one talks about them, I believe I'm going to make a video about his silent films because they're some of my favorites, and literally barely any Hitchcock fan has probably ever seen them, and they should because they're really good. So this is definitely one I do want to see, and now that I'm thinking about it, ideally before this video comes out I will have seen it, but you will know in the video if I have or not. Next up we have 2001 A Space Odyssey by Stanley Kubrick. I have not seen that many Kubrick films. I've seen The Shining and A Clockwork Orange, and I do love both, so I do love his style of films, and this is one of those that, like, because of the length and to be in the headspace for it is why I kind of haven't seen it, but it's another one on this list that I definitely do want to see, and I hate myself more than probably film fans hate me for not seeing it. It's one of those things. This film was released in May 1968, and it stars Keir Dullea, I'm not sure how to pronounce that name, and Douglas Rain. I don't know much about the film. I've actually seen the very, very beginning, which is the whole thing with the prehistoric Homo sapiens, and they're in front of this big black thing. So I've seen that, and obviously that's been parodied to death everywhere. And then I've also seen the very, very, very last probably couple minutes of the film where the main character kind of goes in this weird like black hole time vortex and like sees himself aging, and then like he's going through all these lights and stuff. It kind of reminds me of Space Mountain in Disney World with like all the random lights around him, and then he sees like I think himself is like in utero, like in the universe. It's really fucking bizarre. So I've seen the very beginning and the very end, and of course I know about HAL 9000, again parodied everywhere in Simpsons, Futurama, other places. Like it's been parodied for decades. And the famous, "I'm sorry, Dave, I'm afraid I can't do that." I'm willing to bet that this probably doesn't have like beginning, middle, conflicty end plot, that it's just these guys in space and then shit goes down. HAL 9000 becomes sentient and starts killing the crew and all that jazz. Like, I'm assuming that's what it's about. Based on the beginning and the end, that doesn't really give me much to go on, but I just know that the ending is probably not very satisfying because I was super confused when I saw the end. Like I said, I have not watched the film, so maybe there's something there, but from what I remember hearing about the film over the years and like the criticisms is that the end doesn't really make sense, but it's basically supposed to be a culmination of human civilization or something, because it's Kubrick and he goes big or goes home, that kind of director. Obviously he had a vision for it, but yeah, so this is one I do want to see. I think I have this DVR'd as well, not 100%, but I think I do. But yeah, it's one of those I just haven't gotten around to seeing, but I do want to because it is very much like the grandfather of sci-fi films as we know it. So it's kind of important and to see that evolution happen, and it's an important film in that aspect. Definitely want to see it, but just haven't gotten around to it. And the last film on my list is going to be one that I'm sure people are also going to be very shocked, but that film is Jaws by Steven Spielberg. This one, I just have no desire to see it. I love Steven Spielberg as a director. I truly adore him. I've seen a lot of his films over the years. But this one, I just have never had a desire to care to see it. So this film was released in June 1975, and it stars Roy Schneider, Robert Shaw, and Richard Dreyfuss. And obviously the most famous line from this film, you know, "We're gonna need a bigger boat." I've been seeing memes everywhere about how what's kind of going on with the virus in the US right now is very similar to the plot of Jaws, where you have the mayor being like, "It's not a big deal, go swimming." And you have like a scientist and a journalist and like someone else who are like, "Nah, brah, this is bad." And that's pretty much the plot of the film, I'm pretty sure. And it's basically these three guys that are going out to try to kill this shark. I'm assuming kill it because it's killing people. I've seen the very first scene of this film with the girl swimming in, I think it's the first scene, with the girl swimming in the ocean. And you think it's going to be like this, like, oh, you know, I think she's skinny dipping or something. It's something like that. And she's like, whatever, la la la. And then you just see her kind of get pulled under. And then you keep seeing her get pulled under and she's like thrashing and stuff like that. And I think that's how the film opens. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's how the film opens. And it's basically I know the film is about, you know, this shark that's terrorizing people and these guys are trying to stop it. But they've made like 4 of these, right? How many have they made? I was right. They did make 4 of these. So yeah, I don't know how you can stretch that out. I mean, granted, I'm sure Spielberg was not involved in the later iterations, especially because one of them is apparently in 3D and the other is called Jaws the Revenge. So that kind of brings me actually back to, I don't know if you guys remember in the early 2000s when for some reason ABC Family, before it was like Freeform and all that, like all these channels had like this countdown type of show of like the scariest movies of all time, and like they would go through it and stuff like that. And Jaws was always like in like the top 5, and I just never understood why. So I know that this is technically classified for a lot of people as a horror film. I don't know if it's because of, you know, it was made in the 70s. Spielberg did what he does best and made the best of a bad situation by only shooting the shark occasionally. So it's kind of the fear of dread of something you can't see, but is still so huge because the animatronic shark never worked properly during the entire filming. But I don't know. I just don't find it that scary because I don't find sharks scary. And I know that this film has probably helped to perpetuate the fact that sharks are dangerous, so people just want to kill them and shit. And it's like, no, they're really important to the ocean ecosystem. They'll leave you alone if you leave them alone. Yeah, like I guess because like I said, I'm not scared of sharks, and I don't like the fact that this film kind of perpetuated that idea and furthered like shark hunting and killing their habitats and other stuff. So it's like, it has kind of like a negative connotation in my mind. I can appreciate obviously the cinematic achievement because Spielberg, you know, he was still early in his career when he made this film, and it's a masterpiece for a lot of people, but I just have never really had a desire to see it. Maybe one day I'll watch it, I don't know, but it's just not one I really wanted to see. And that's it. Those were just 5 classics that I've yet to see. I may never see, I may try to see, or I'm going to see eventually. Yeah. Have you guys actually watched any of these films? Am I alone in this? If you guys have some what is considered classics where you're from, to see if I haven't seen them, or to just suggest them for me to see, leave a comment down below and list them. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was fun to be in shock and awe. And also I hope it was fun for me to try to figure out what these movies are about, because I don't know. And I figured it'd be really fun to try to see if I could guess it. So yeah, I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. The next film on my list is 2001: A Space Odyssey by Robert? Is it Robert? Oh my God.